Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Never Loses. Another run of the Binding of Isaac with Plus ever again. Promise. Kinda not. Don't make me laugh. You try to embarrass me on an item room. You give me literal poop. You expect me to say thank you, sir. May I have another? Absolutely not. This is a great run so far. Like, let me, by default, 8 rate of fire, 5.44 damage. The fact that we have good speed and not horrible HP is all the indication you need that we're never going to lose another run in this game ever again. How does that seem relevant? Don't worry about it too much, okay? Just trust the process. Your boy has decided this is the end of losses. We're going to win every game from now onwards. I'm staking my career on it. Sort of. I mean, indirectly, I suppose. It'd be more engaging if we won, is I suppose what I'm trying to get at in the whole scheme of things. So, Unicorn Horn is good. I would hazard to guess Guppy's Head, more fun, and also, like, objectively, basically better. So, I'm gonna roll with that. Invincibility is a little bit of a hot take for you. Invincibility is for babies. Invincibility is bad because you're already invincible in Isaac as long as you don't get hit by things. So why would you ever need anything but more damage? Take that. Flawless reasoning, that's right. I did take a rhetoric class in high school. How did I do in it? Sic transit gloria, let's put it that way. You guys ever have that friend, you know, you get into arguments with sometimes? They always point out how every one of your arguments is a logical fallacy. And you're like, yeah, but like, puberty. Does that make it wrong? Because, like, I know, like, the slippery slope. I know it can be a logical fallacy. But sometimes I'm like, dude, that slope is a little bit slippery. It feels like that argument should apply. Just because some Greek guy 500 years ago, not 500 years ago, like 2,000 years ago, said that that's not a fair way to argue. It sounds like sour grapes. It sounds like Socrates was arguing with somebody, and they were like, well, Socrates, if you're going to ask questions for everything, when are you ever going to have the answers? And he was just like, that's not fair. That's a sick transit slippery slope. Glory fades. I don't know, man. I'm not a rhetorician, okay? And I like the word. It's, you know, it's one of those words that makes you think that there was a guy that lived, like, back in the ancient Greek times that was really good at talking. And his name was, like, Rhetoricus. He was so good at talking that he became the name for people who talk well, or convincingly at least. Alright, so we got some amazing stuff happening here, and I can pivot off of that conversational thread that was going literally nowhere. I'm stunned that we didn't have to, at any point, use the Sun card to enable us to get Blood Bank. Blood Bag, I should say. Piercing shots, okay. I mean, this is like more items than you normally have by the end of the caves, too. Especially when you consider that our first item room was an active item. And also, we got Guppy's Head, which is another active item, so... Like, I'm feeling great right now. If I could get a couple more bombs, and then the ability to fly, we could open those up. And with the way that my luck is going, and the fact that I have guaranteed that we will never lose in this video game ever again, you have to assume... Oh, you are absolutely destroyed. We got a really good chance to get like an all stats up or a high damage upgrade or something like that. You know what? It's a deal with the Angel Run. Doesn't happen all that often. You know what else? I am a fool for not going to the shop on that floor. Got a little bit ahead of myself. That's not a 100% win rate play. I'll be the first to tell you. A little embarrassed with the fact that I didn't give myself every advantage necessary on the shop there. See, I'm not the kind of guy... When I try to spin you a yarn about making a mistake in Isaac, It's because I genuinely believe that there could be some positivity in it. I make a lot of mistakes when I play video games. I crossed the threshold. You're not going to believe me, but if you ask Josh or you ask Mouth, they'll tell you, in high school, I was a quote-unquote good gamer. And I mean this sincerely. You know, whatever, we played a ton of Halo 2. I was always the best or second best on the squad. Played a ton of Rainbow Six 3, best or second best on the squad. Ton of Project Gotham Racing 2. That one, I'm going to toot my own horn to an extreme degree. I was always the best when we played that. Now, I played the most. It wasn't like I had some preternatural talent. I'm just saying. There was a point in my life where when I invested time into competitive games, I got good at them. Now I don't know what happens. I don't know if it's old age, reflexes, you know, other things on the noggin, less practice. It's not old age, you know what I mean, though. And I make mistakes in these games, and I'll be the first to tell you when I make them. Nobody is a harsher critic of me than me. Well, there might be a couple of... This is the thing about being like a YouTuber. There's not even 1%. It's like 1 in 100,000 people that have ever interacted with you. Just for whatever reason, you trigger their most like violent rage for reasons that make no sense. Everybody that's ever been on the NLSS has people like that about them. Like we did a show the other day. This is not me, again, complaining about content creator life. It's just something I'm bringing up for perspective. We did a show the other day. People said, you know, not to toot our own horn, said it was one of the best shows we've ever done. One of the best shows of the year, at the very least. People were talking about it on the subreddit. And then somebody said, couldn't be the best show of the year because it had Corey on for at least 2/3 of it. And I was like, that's how you know you started to make it. You started to make it, Corey. When you got one person who's dedicated to not liking you. I'll admit, you know, I've never been that guy to the best of my knowledge. We've already been in there. But, you know, it happens to, you know, this podcast you like, and then they have recurring guests that you like more than others. You know, you're like, oh, it's a blank episode. You know, I'll spare you my own personal podcast impressions, but you can just insert whatever name you think feels appropriate here. So I do understand it, but, you know, for the most part, I'm my own harshest critic, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to try to spin it like I did something wrong. Or I didn't do something wrong. HP, please? I'll tell you what, let's do it like this. This is how you know you're feeling pretty confident or being a little stupid. When you feel comfortable doing something like this. I mean, we're at 710. Angel? Let's go. We're at 710, and if we wanted to be, we would be done with the second floor by now. Or sorry, the fourth floor, the second caves floor. Pop the world card. Okay. Ability to fly. Don't mind if I do. And emptiness, but I'm not mad about it. Don't hate me because I'm right in this situation. Like, Delirious is good-ish. But Guppy's head is incredible. Like, that's an item, dude. Guppy's head is like... It's like if you go to In-N-Out and you're like, what should I have? You should get a double-double. That's what you get at In-N-Out, okay? You don't need to go off the weird menu and be like, are the hot dogs here any good? That's not what it's there for, okay? That's there for people who are sick of the 2x2. You can get them animal style or otherwise. I have to admit, I'm very passionate about fast food rankings. I'm going to give you my fast food burger rankings, okay? And they're controversial. If you've watched the NLSS for any length of time, you kind of know what kind of hot take opinions are coming up. I just want to point out, we're all adults here. We can treat each other with a mutual level of respect. What I'm going to say next is going to offend some people. I don't think that Five Guys burgers and fries is that good. Now, I'll be the first to tell you. I don't know if you've ever been. If you haven't, you know, you can have your burger your way. That's kind of the the thing in the restaurant is, you know, you gotta customize it. You don't want to just get a default one. I think we want to go to the shop here. That's what Josh told me, at least. And you get free peanuts, and they give you about 100,000 French fries, which undermines the need for the free peanuts, in my opinion, because I'm just like, I don't need this. I am already eating like 1,300 calories today, and I love peanuts more than anybody I've ever met in person in my entire life. But anyway, I've only been to it once. And it was not in, like, the east coast of the United States. It was in Vancouver, British Columbia. So I don't know if it's a horrendous adaptation of Five Guys Burgers and Fries formula. But when I went, I was like, it's decent. It's not like it's not poison. But it left a little bit to be desired. Now, what do you want to hear me say about In-N-Out? In-N-Out French fries are very bad, in my opinion. But the In-N-Out burger is highly delicious. And I would take it over a Five Guys burger any day of the week. Now, lest ye East Coasters think that this is just West Coast bias, let me hit you up with a little extra nugget that'll make you very happy. Much better than both of those burger chains, in my opinion. Shake Shack. I went to Shake Shack when we were in New York for Champions of Fire. Burger, delicious. French fries, delicious. I will 100% vouch for Shake Shack. That's one of the few fast food places where, you know, if I was like angling for a nice dinner and then someone was like, I'm getting a little hungry, I want to go home, what if we just go to Shake Shack? I would be like, but I thought we were gonna get, like, you know, quiche Lorraine. But in my head I would be like, Shake Shack, let's go. That's my American burger trifecta, okay? Of the three slightly higher class chains that I can think of right now, you know, we're accepting McDonald's, we're accepting Burger King, Wendy's, etc., etc. Those exist in a slightly different tier. If you're going to a famous burger place, Shake Shack, In-N-Out, Five Guys, burgers and fries in that order. My opinion. Now, I would love... They opened a knockoff In-N-Out in downtown Vancouver. I think... it closed down... But they just moved to a different part of the city, to the best of my knowledge. It was an extreme ripoff of In-N-Out, which was awesome, except for the fact that to get a burger was like $21. It was a little on the crazy side. And if you're like, $21 Canadian, what's that? Like $6 American? Nah, it's like $19 American. It's a little much. Is all I'm trying to say. But if they had a Shake Shack in Vancouver, I would probably go there once a week and then die in my early 30s. But I would be happy about it, I think. I would be like, you know what? It was worth it for all those delicious burgers. If you're going to In-N-Out, of course, you know, you got to get it animal style. It's basically... The French fries are just like, they're so dry. But then they're like, hey, we'll make up for that by pouring a ton of Thousand Islands dressing on top of them. And you're like, okay, now you're seeing, you had my interest, but now you have my attention. And this has been Northernlion's 2018 Fast Food Burger Rankings. It's like a very Web 2.0 thing. Have a blog where you like, it's like, you know what it is? Report of the week. It's Review Bra. To review every new fast food item that comes out without a shred of irony whatsoever. Dude, I would love to play you, but it's gonna lose us our bone hard guaranteed. And I'm not in the business of losing HP at this point. Because I'm not in the business of losing games at this point. Please. So it's Damage Aura. Damage Aura is okay. Now we can actually play you. But we're going to immediately lose this Damage Aura to hope to get Fire Rate Aura in particular. That's more HP. Really, that's the only one that's better. So, well, we'll probably use this to escape. HP, you know, sometimes is a little precious. I'm willing, it could be Gulp the Trinket. I'm willing to take the Tick as our second Trinket. It's not like we're doing anything with Blister. Okay, we'll Gulp that. We'll take Blister back. Dude, I want my Blister back, Blister back. Not a good tongue twister. Chili's baby background. Okay. We did get the Rate of Fire aura, so I am a genius. Accidentally.
I found pills.
Gulp. No, relax. Drowsy, though. Not bad. We were kind of looking for a full health pill, but no complaints. We have, like, gotten way out in front of this run. I just want to see. Maybe there's a crawl space. Maybe there's a crawl space. Barbecue sauce. Yo. Okay. We're on the... We've slowed down a lot, but we slowed down a lot because we were trying to get advantages on that last floor. Do not take damage. I would not even at this point play a blood bank if there was one available in there, because having 2 rate of fire with 7.75 damage is insane, and I do not take it for granted, especially with piercing shots, ability to fly, you know, so many positive things going on in our run right now. Okay, that's fine. I was ready to be mad because Curse of the Unknown, you know, it has a tendency to, you know, create these situations where you're like, oh, kidney stones. Now our speed is a little bit more garbage and we get no discernible benefit out of it whatsoever. And then somewhere off in the distance, Tyrone is laughing at you. Not that time, though. Lemon Mishap is not nearly good enough to take, but that's fine. I also think we do not do Boss Rush, but if we can get a teleport card... It might not be worth grabbing an item. And I'm drowsy, could be solid there too, but it might not be worth grabbing an item because of the risk, but, you know, it's not really a risk, and I'll tell you why. Because I've dedicated my life to never losing another run of the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, so what's the risk? No matter what we take, we know we're gonna win. We got very little to complain about. Which is the exact opposite of how my opinion has been changing on Mario Tennis. But I digress, okay? I already got my 2 cents out during Roundtable. Played hundreds of hours of Mario Tennis 64 when I was a youngster. I'm just not a huge fan. Oh my god. My sons. Just not a huge fan of the fact that everybody and their little brother wants to play as Bowser Jr., even though they didn't even know that Bowser Jr. existed until like 2 days ago. Not, because there's always, whenever, and if you're not in this position, you don't have to be offended on anybody else's behalf, okay? But whenever you insult, let me rephrase because there's a better way to describe it. Criticizing a Nintendo game is like praising an Ubisoft game. If you ever do it, you're gonna get people coming out of the woodwork that are like, are you crazy? You can't do that. I'm not gonna take these. It's just, the juice ain't worth the flippin' squeeze, man. It's like, oh, Rainbow Six Siege is a good game. Don't you know that Ubisoft only wants your money? Mario Tennis Aces has a long way to go in terms of balancing if it's gonna become an esport. I just get tweets from people that are in tears. My uncle, Shigeru Miyamoto, dedicated so much of his life to making Mario Tennis, and this is how you repay him? Anyway, I bought it for full price, so don't at me, okay? I support the Nintendo machine. My wife's playing the Switch right now. I'm a Nintendo boy. I like the device. What I don't like is getting endlessly trick-shotted by Bowser Jr. over and over and over when I'm trying to get my drop shot on. Oh, just don't play against Bowser Jr. Okay, cool. Endless Waluigi's then. Take your pick. Hey, stop that. Alright, I am ready to go. We're doing great work. I'd like some more Spirit Hearts, but it's not urgent. We guaranteed deal with the Angel chance. Well, guaranteed deal with the something chance. Luckily, it's trash, so we have no obligation to take that. This is the kind of run, by the way, ends up, you know, has a dangerous legacy associated with it. By which I mean to say, we're gonna win probably easily without being too cocky about the situation. You wanna go, Tomo? Goodbye, my son. Without being overly cocky about the situation. It makes me a little scared for our next run. Because I'm going to go into it being like, what, we don't have 2 rate of fire and 9.15 damage 10 seconds in? We really got set on this one really early. I'm dealing with a psychological conundrum with my cats, okay? I need, like, Jackson Galaxy out there. Any amateur Jackson Galaxy cat whisperers that can explain to me how to deal with this behavioral issue, okay? Ruka he's my son. He's a wonderful cat. While Kate has been sick, he's been laying on the foot of the bed, just serving as a cat nurse and protector. But also, every time I go into our kitchen, he starts meowing at me to give him some treats. And he does it endlessly. He just meows over and over and over. So I know what you're thinking. There's a couple of different options. Never give him treats. Does not work. He has continued to meow for weeks in between treat intervals. As the other one, give him treats. Maybe if you give him treats like once a day, he won't meow anymore. Sorry to inform you, as also wrong, after you give him treats, he gets more of a bloodlust for them. You know, I would say, like, if we haven't given him treats for 3 or 4 days, the meowing is like a, you know, maybe a 3 out of 10 annoying. If we've given him treats that day, I don't know if it reinforces that he thinks he has a chance. The meowing, it hits like 15 out of 10 levels. Probably should have chosen a different scale, alright? So I don't know what to do with this cat and with the treat-based economy that we have. I was on a once every 2 days sort of treat situation. But now, if he meows, I can't give him treats, because it reinforces that begging behavior. But he never stops meowing. So I can't get him to stop meowing, which is the behavior that we want to reinforce, because he never starts it in the first place. It's, I mean, I understand this is probably a little bit inside baseball. People are like, I don't really care about your cat behavior, but I'm just saying, you know, it's a little annoying as a cat owner, because every time I go into the kitchen to get myself a glass of water, verp, verp, you know, this cat comes out and goes like, meow, 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 and then he jumps on the garbage can and starts meowing again. One time I opened the cutlery drawer and he jumped in. And I was like, this is a drawer full of knives. Why would you ever think that this, it's just because he's excited, I think, but, you know, I just don't understand why you would ever think that that would be the ticket. To getting treats is to jump into a drawer full of sharp metal objects. So you gotta protect cats from themselves, man. It's like having a baby, but they're like a baby for life. Like, if you didn't know this, this is some useful information. Cats are unable to metabolize caffeine, which means if you're giving your cats tea or coffee, why? And also stop, it's bad for them. So I make this cold brew, and what cold brew coffee is coffee grounds combined with cold water, and then it just sort of brews, for lack of a better word, at an ambient room temperature for 12 to 24 hours. So it's like a big jar of coffee is being made. If you haven't had cold brew before, I really like it, because here's, I don't like to consume hot coffee anymore. I love coffee. I can drink hot coffee, but I much prefer cold coffee. I don't care if it's December 30th. The coldest day of the year every year, December 30th. Give me that cold coffee. I like cold coffee flavor, and it's drinkable immediately. You don't have to wait for it. Oh no, my aura though. I absolutely should have verped, so I could have power pill there, but again, what does it matter? So overnight, I have to have this vat of what essentially amounts to cat poison. Why not? Most of the time, and I think for, you know, you would be not that concerned about it because you'd be like, obviously the cat's not going to deliberately eat poison, but I'm not so sure that that is indeed the case. I think our cats might willfully choose to eat poison on occasion. So I have to put, like, the jar basically as high as I can possibly get it, like up on what essentially amounts to the ceiling, where only I can get it, because they're still cats at the end of the day. They're still pretty small. It's like being a pet owner is a solemn vow, man. Same with dogs, you know? Like, if your dog eats like a chocolate bar or something like that, you gotta go into the vet immediately. Cat's exactly the same. So many... Before I bring anything into our home now, I Google, like, blank, poisonous to cats. This is weird stuff that you wouldn't think about. You know, chocolate, most people know. By the way, please focus so we don't die. Caffeine, I think most people know. Many flowers. People don't even think about that sometimes. Like, Kate is a musician. Sometimes at her performances, she gets flowers. And whenever we get them, we have to be like, hey, thanks for the flowers, but these are poisonous for our pets. We can't take them into our home. It's crazy, you know? I'm trying to think of other ones that... like, every fruit and vegetable I Google. And I'm like, I think our cat ate 2 blueberries. Is that okay? And they're like, wait, did you say blueberries or gooseberries? I'm like, blueberries. They're like, oh, thank God. If they ever smell a gooseberry, they'll explode. But blueberries are extremely good for them. How have you been a species for this long? It doesn't make it... I guess, here's the thing. Here's an inspirational tale. If a 3-toed sloth can survive as a species, then any species that wants to survive can do it. I have faith in you. Pandas, rhinos. I mean, it's not really fair to say because it is like human beings hunting you, but like, you know, it was just a bit. I'm not trying to really ruffle any feathers if you're a conservationist or a zoologist or whatever, but like, what would these cats do without a human being? I guess the thing is, like, it's not like in the wild a cat is gonna come across, like, you know, the Snickers factory. Guess if you're a cat, you don't get too many opportunities to eat, like, concentrated chocolate or caffeine in the wild, so it's kind of a non-issue. Fair enough, you know? I've talked myself out of another egregious stance. It's for the best. Okay, it's a little slightly more harrowing finish than I would have expected here, but in the end, turned out just fine. Rate of fire got horrible, but that's because we stupidly took some damage, but hey, very quick, expedited run. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.